Americans are being swept down a path of bad public policy. Every American currently owes $50,000 in federal debt. Entitlement spending represents 75% of today's federal budget and growing. Yet policymakers are demanding more spending programs. The American public hasn't abandoned capitalism. The problem is that our public debate is being framed in words that support socialism. Who doesn't want change and equality? Especially if only the rich are paying for it.
But it currently covers the poor.
I understand.
And 65 and older, but you think everybody should be covered, even if it would mean more debt, you're willing to trade off additional debt?
I think human life is more valuable than money.
Okay.
I would agree.
Okay.
Well, I guess they really have to.
So even though it would mean more debt and...
Well, they have to work it out some way. Maybe something else can be cut out, but I do think people have to get health care.
I mean, if all the 401ks were utilized for just a bit of private health care coverage, all that money that people just stock away, but they're not even using it for anything.
To change the conversation, we need to inform Americans about the basic facts so we can have an informed public discussion.
If we divided up the federal debt equally among all Americans, you would owe $50,000.
It seems like I'll be reasonable, but I don't know.
It's not reasonable. It's not.
Repeat that again.
It's not reasonable.
That's a lot of cabbage.
It's outrageous.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't spending any of it.
Once the facts are common knowledge, we need to change the premise of political conversations and reintroduce several old-fashioned notions. The central driving message is, everything you take from government is taken from someone else.
All the money that pays for government benefits is taken from you.
Doesn't sound very good. I don't like that. It's my money.
Everything is taxed and taxed but we're not, like you said, we're not getting it. We're paying taxes, but we're not getting nothing back.
We can't win everyone over. There are demographic pockets who will never be convinced.
If we averaged out our current debt to every individual in America paid an equal share, it would be $50,000 per person.
I don't want to pay off the federal debt. I want health care. It comes around. I worked hard. I deserve it.
Everything the government gives out in benefits is money taken from you.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I think that we need benefits, regular access, emergency access. I think we need all those benefits.
But we have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to engage people who are politically inactive.
3/4 of our budget goes to entitlement spending. What are we going to do about that?
That all comes from us as people that have the right to vote, paying attention. I don't necessarily believe that I, as a person who pays their taxes, has to lose the little bit of money that I make, because as you know, if you're not a high-paid politician, working for the state doesn't really get you that much money. And I would have to pay even more money if we divided up the debt. Like, who's spending this money? Because I'm not spending this money. I don't have a car. I call the light rail here.
The office that cut the spending, we're over there doing the spending. They went on vacation. They had commemorative coins made. They had a talent show, all that stuff. Why don't they do some regulating on that?
And how do you feel, given the current debt, about the notions of expanding some of these programs, particularly healthcare, beyond the elderly and the poor to cover everyone?
Well, you can't run if you think in terms of like business, you can't run a business that way. So, if we want to be fiscally responsible and have a country, later on, some of these programs are going to have to, do something with that. There are going to be hard decisions that need to be made, and you have to have the right people in office to make those decisions. So.
I mean, obviously there's certain situations where the people are going to need help with that, but for the most part, I think that people should be responsible for their own health care and their own medical attention and everything else.
Americans do have health care. As far as doing it through the government, through these programs here, I think that just adds room for the inefficiencies of government in doing so. So I think it only makes it that much more unsustainable. The only way it's going to be able to sustain itself is if there's a dramatic increase in taxes.
Our extensive interviews and online studies show that messages that promote fiscal responsibility and accountability with compassion get a strong positive result. Imagine how we can change the course of American public policy by a national marketing campaign that changes how we debate the facts. Let's start before it's too late.